Jeff got the juice, keep the show on fire. Josh brings the news straight from the source with no desire. The judge, our wise advisor, keeps us in line. Fresh from the comic shop, showcase your design. Ask Joe the comic book ninja for insights to explore. The popcorn gets to know you from straight to the core. I guess I have to think, cause we make some freaks. So much more to discover, this show's a hit. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. So let's start.
Let's start the show, shall we? Anything can happen on a comic book canon. We are back, second week of 2025, and another Eagles win. We are in the NFC Championship game. We are hosting it, which is a shock, but super excited. So we got that out of the way, right, Joe? Or unless you have anything else to add to that.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
It's a little dicey there, but man, there is just kind of nothing like watching football in the snow. I love a good snow game because you know it's usually happening later in the season, playoffs, even the Super Bowl. So, yeah, we got home field advantage next week against a rival team, a divisional rival. And, yeah, we're obviously going to win that. Pretty much.
Listen, let's get into some housekeeping here. Look at Josh trying to tell us how to do the news. I was actually going to do that in a hot second here, Josh. Yeah, we have a couple things to announce real quick before we do the news. And that's, again, if you didn't know this, we mentioned this last week. We started a newsletter here, and it's an easy way to kind of keep up with Comic Book Canon. If you have not seen the show on Sunday Night Live, you just join the newsletter. You have all the segments right there and an easy way to click on your favorite ones, as you can see here. Not only do we have this wonderful newsletter, we also are running another contest. And this is a fun one right here because we want you to refer subscribers. So you get to email your friends, say, hey, join the #1 show on YouTube, Comic Book Canon. That's right. And we have 3 tiers for this referral contest. If you refer 25 subscribers, you'll receive a comic book straight from our curated collection. Tier 2, refer 50 subscribers, and you'll get the comic book plus a Comic Book Canon Stanley Flow State tumbler, 14 ounce. Look at that beautiful thing right there. I heard the Stanleys are hot. The kids think it's skibbity. And tier 3, be the first to hit 100 referrals, and you'll receive the comic book, the Stanley Tumbler, and the ultimate prize, an Iron Man number. Oh, shoot. I cut off the number right there. I can't remember what it is.
168, 169.
Right here. It's a 9.4 out of Dan De La Torre's collection. It's the first roadie where he dons the Iron Man armor. So get on that, everybody. The link is down below. You can't miss it. Very excited for the show today. Good friend of the show as well, Chris Killian, will be coming on shortly, right after we get through the news. I always feel like we have to rush through things because people are giving us their time. That's our most precious commodity. So we have the news coming up. One other thing to mention, though. This whole Canon crew, all 4 of us, the wonderful people of Comic Book Canon, myself, Joe, Josh, and the Honorable Dan De La Torre, the judge, we invade Mon Comics Big 5 Live on Sunday the 25th. Saturday the 25th. That's next Saturday. The link is down below there as well. Please follow Mon Comics. He owes me $12.47, but other than that, he's a fantastic human being. But yeah, right now, it's just time. We got to kick it. Everybody, how you doing? Say hello in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. And right now, we have the news.
Just delivers the news and rumors.
Josh, you are so chill with that new music right there. So chill. Josh delivered.
I absolutely love it, man. Like,
Jeff,
I'm just having a lot of fun. And
hold on a second. Jeff got muted. Jeff.
Unbelievable.
I don't know how this happened. Anyway, Josh, the news. Let's just dive right into it.
Yeah, let's get into some GCU news, something that I'm excited for. So Millie Aycock has been cast as Supergirl. We know they're currently filming Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow right now. But it looks like she is going to appear in Superman as well. It's been confirmed. Now, I'm sure it's going to be a small little appearance. However, there is a little clip going on that there might be a potential appearance of her in the teaser trailer. Now, I think it's a little hard to make out, but anyway, I'm excited about this. A fun little fact. If this does end up happening, this will be the first time that Supergirl and Superman have ever appeared together in a film ever since their history together, which is insane to me. They have been on the CW show, the Infinite Crisis Arrowverse, but other than that, they have not appeared in a live action movie, never in the existence of these two characters. So, yeah, I'm excited about this and looking forward to the future of the DCU.
Yeah. Oh, you got checked on there, right there. D&T Comics and Collectibles. Danny, the Flash movie, they did appear on screen together. The 80s.
No, I don't count that. First of all, it's a CGI fest. Second of all, it was horrible,
It was horrible.
and they never. It doesn't count. Doesn't count in my opinion.
Well, also, Caleb, we're talking the big screen. Josh is specifically talking the big screen, but that is a good call as well. They have appeared on TV. All right, but we have more Supergirl news. Is that correct, Joshua?
Yeah. So we also got news. Her parents have been casted. So David Krumholtz, if I pronounce his last name right, and then Emily Beecham have been joined with the cast of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow as the parents. And interesting fact, I didn't know this, but David is the original elf from the Tim Allen Santa Claus movie, Bernard.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Career.
I think that's fun, man, and he's actually really excited to join the lore, and he loves DC Comics, and I love when they cast actors who have a passion for wanting to play in these films and do characters. I mean, they're not looking just for a paycheck. No, they want to actually, be a part of history and everything, and respect the characters. So yeah, I'm excited about this. The cast. I'm sure we'll probably get some more announcements coming in. It'll be interesting though because if her parents are cast, and I haven't read The Woman of Tomorrow, so I don't know if it takes place before Krypton is destroyed. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like flashbacks or if it is set in Krypton, and then like maybe towards the end something gets blown up, and then we go into Superman or see how that works out. So yeah, this is going to be fun and great casting in my opinion.
Yeah, I love seeing the fact that the DCU is moving forward. Again, great start with Creature Commandos. Very happy with where that all landed. We didn't do a review because it was too quick, fresh off that last episode. Didn't want spoilers. But again, outstanding. And I'm very excited for James Gunn and what he's going to do. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah. I've said this over and over. Josh is our guy that's like very heavy DC. I'm more of the very heavy Marvel guy. Jeff's kind of a split between the two comparatively. And I'm excited though. I'm excited. This is another project that I'm really excited to see. Obviously Superman we're gonna be seeing in just a couple months, and that's kind of kick things off. But I did really like the Supergirl that we got in the Flash. In fact, I thought that was the best part of the movie.
Yeah,
for
sure.
So as much as I would have liked what's her name, Sasha Kaye, to stick around, I thought she did a great job. Sure, let's do a little reboot in here and get this new version of Supergirl on the screen.
Very excited for sure. All right, Josh, so we got some news that's not so great right now, and we have to bring it up. Got to address it.
So I edited some of this, so we're not going to go to full details. It is pretty bad. But more women have come forward with sexual assault and abuse allegations against Neil Gaiman, who is creator of Sandman. And you can go look it up for yourselves. And some of the stuff is pretty bad.
Really bad.
What's coming
really
forward.
Bad.
I mean, like, it's now I've seen some people try to defend him and say, well, it was a different time and maybe he gave money and certain things. But no, some of the stuff is really bad. And I believe now this is the 6th, 7th, and 8th woman who have come forward about him. And for the longest time, for almost 10 years ago, there was a woman that came forward that's been getting the story out, and nobody has reported it. And now a lot of people are coming forward. So, unfortunately, another creator in the comic world is just being exposed, and yeah, it sucks to be a fan of his art or his writing, whatever the case may be for anybody, and to see this. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead,
it's
Joe.
it's a really unfortunate situation. A lot of people have found entertainment and comfort in his work, and obviously it's terrible that that's kind of that certainly going to be ending. I think that Sandman won't get renewed, and Dead Boy Detectives was already canceled after one season. Sandman probably will stop after that second season, but obviously these the victims in this situation are the people we should really be thinking about, and making sure that this is something that doesn't happen again with this person, and obviously doing what we can to prevent this happening with other individuals. So always good to speak up. Takes a lot of courage and bravery to speak up, especially against someone with so much power and influence. But I'm glad this is coming to light now and can be taken care of.
Well, again, let's all just. Fact of the matter is, this person has not been convicted in court, right? These allegations are horrific, so you got to kind of tread that fine line. Granted, more people are coming out, which is not a good sign. And you got to take this as serious as possible, because again, if it is true, you have to freaking take it. You have to investigate it thoroughly, and this person needs to be convicted. Again, if it turns out to be true. We see too many people, especially people with money and power, just skating off of these allegations, while these people have to deal with the repercussions of the actions of these people for the rest of their lives. So again, if it's true, I hope Neil Gaiman gets what he deserves. And again, time will tell. So that's not the greatest news. And we're moving on to something not so serious, but still not great news either. Joshua.
Yeah, so another big news story that dropped. Diamond Comic Distributions has filed for a voluntary pension for relief under Chapter 11 bankruptcy to restructure its business. Now, what this technically means is they're going to not file for Chapter 12, which is complete, restart over. But this is a way to kind of help relieve their money situations, and like they said, restructure the company. They're looking to sell off maybe some certain IPs and do some things. Try to keep Diamond open. We're gonna have to see what happens. This is just not really shocking news. I don't think anybody would be really shocked by it. I mean, they unfortunately have kind of. I mean, the writing was on the wall, so it's not a big surprise, but this could mean, in the next year or so, Diamond could go completely out of business, or maybe they can restructure, come back, and, try to become better going forward. We'll have to wait and see.
Joe, your thoughts, since you're the finance guy?
Yeah. Obviously I'm not a business finance person. I'm a personal finance person. But at the same time, when this happens, it's not a good sign. And we've seen breadcrumbs leading to this for a long time now, from DC dropping Diamond and going. I think they went with Lunar instead, or Penguin. How I forget exactly.
Yeah.
I don't keep up too much with that stuff, as I don't work in a comic store, but I have friends that do, friends that work for publishers as well. One thing to note, and I do want to say this, if you're a fan of Dynamite Comics, Diamond was their sole distributor. They had an exclusive contract with Diamond. So this is really going to be an issue for them. If you are someone that reads Dynamite titles, Vampirella and Red Sonja, and a lot of Disney ones out now as well. They have a bunch of properties currently doing Thundercats. They have a lot of really popular stuff. Figure out how you can get them. Your store, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that, so I would talk to your store and make sure you can, and obviously support a company like Dynamite, who's putting out there's a lot of really cool IPs and things like that. This is, like I said, this has been kind of a long time coming. I've heard over the years, this isn't just as of this year, but over the years, I've heard issues with Diamond, whether it's, delays or, fulfillment issues or, obviously what happened recently with DC dropping them. So I think this was kind of a necessary thing. Hopefully they can either restructure and get back to doing what they're doing, because they're a, for those who don't know, they're a long-standing company in this industry. This isn't some company that went under, that's been around for a few years. Or obviously the other option is selling off the company, getting bought out by one of the other ones, and kind of stabilizing in that sense. Either way, if you do order books, if your store orders books through a Diamond, or you like to read Dynamite books, I would definitely reach out and see what you can do, what options you have right now, and just make sure everything is going to come in smooth. Otherwise, you might have to temporarily find some other place. Obviously, always the best thing is support your local comic shop. I will always promote that. But there are other places to get comics in the meantime if there is some sort of an issue. Talk to your comic shop first, though.
Yeah, this is, as you said, it's been a long time coming. They were the only game in town for a long time, and their service was poor because they could afford to be, because nobody else was distributing comics. And their poor customer service, their delays, they're also the issues on damaged goods. It was just never a good look, and it was always frustrating for local comic book shops and other outlets that order these books. So the major companies, DC, Marvel too, they looked at other opportunities to go with somebody else, and they did. COVID really hurt them. And then, I think what happened was COVID kind of made the publishers rethink that maybe Diamond doesn't have to be the one, and that's what happened. So here they are. Again, I hope this doesn't affect, the comic books that you want to get, or comic book shops not being able to sell new books. We shall see. I'm going to have a conversation with my local comic book shop owner to see how this affects him. But, again, it's people, potentially losing their jobs that they've held for quite a while at Diamond. That's not a good thing. But the fallout will be a new structured kind of distribution model for everybody. So we'll see. That's to be continued right there. Speaking of to be continued, we have an amazing character that we cannot wait to see on the screen that is to be continued from the previous iteration that we've seen on screen. Joshua, what do we got?
Yeah, so let's finish off with some great news. The Born Again trailer has officially been released, and man, is it some of the wokest garbage you've ever seen in your entire life. I mean, Daredevil being a madman hurting people. Like, he should go up to Kingpin and be like, hey, here's some flowers. Thank you for saving the city. No, but seriously, I love this trailer, man. I like just seeing right here live, the scene where these two are sitting at the diner. It reminds me of Heat, where Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are talking to each other, going at it. The trailer is brutal. I'm hearing phenomenal things about this as it is already. I think it's going to be possibly even better than the previous 3 seasons.
Wow.
And it's a continuation of those. And I know that's a high standard, man, but I'm telling you, I think we're in for a real treat. And Charlie even announced that about a month, well, she'll be coming up later this month. They're going to start filming the second half. It's in 19 episodes or 18 episode season. So it's going to be 2 seasons. So, we got more in the way. As you can see, Frank Castle is back. I can't wait to see that. But yeah, this show has me hyped up, man. I was really excited at work, and I kept watching it over and over again. So the March is right around the corner. So yeah, I'm psyched.
Joe, considering you have come out and said this is the best thing Marvel has ever done, your thoughts on the trailer?
Yeah, I'm so excited for this. This trailer really, this was like a total like blood runs cold, goosebumps, almost like my eyes teared up a little bit watching this. I actually was had to be at a meeting for work in Center City, right at 10 o'clock when this came out, and I pulled up. And I waited till 10 o'clock on the dot. My meeting was at 10:15, so I had a little bit of time. Waited, parked pulled up my phone, waited until 10 o'clock, hit the refresh button, and watched this thing. And just sitting there in my car, watched it twice, went into a meeting, and man, I was pumped. I think I killed it at that meeting because I was so excited for the show. But yeah, it's everything we loved about the Netflix show, including the same cast. You know, it just kind of seems like it's picking up where things left off. You know, obviously some time has passed, it seems.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the Kingpin was not in politics at this point. As we saw in the trailer, he seems to have you know, been elected mayor already. That seems, or at least be running. But I think he may have been elected already, as you know, some clues lead out. But you know, some amount of time has passed, but this is just picking right back up where season 3 left off.
For sure. You got Muse in there, which he looks fantastic. You got like Bullseye coming back. Hopefully we see Bullseye costume. The one thing that blew me away, again, you got this Disney bug in the lower bottom right corner here. Matching with when he broke the dude's arm and you see the blood seeping out. Like, I don't know if you guys remember that specifically, but my God, like, I'm like, this is going to be amazing. And I'm so happy that it's back, as millions of people are as well. Okay, but again, we just want to show off their poster too, you know. And also they do.
I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick. I think, you know, it's gonna be great. I think a lot of people are gonna be upset after this episode 1, from what I'm hearing. Bullseye, just kind of like what Neil Jordan just announced. He's bringing the pain. Yeah, I think something's going to happen that follows through the comics, and we're going to see a bit of a time jump. Well, we're going to see 2, because like Joe mentioned, technically this is set about 4 to 5 years after season 3. And so what I understand is season 1 is we're going to kind of pick up after that 4 or 5 years. And then by the end of that episode 1, we're going to do a bit of a time jump. And there's a scene where Kingpin says, hey, why did you stop being a vigilante? And Matt says lines were crossed. Well, I know what line that is, I think. And I don't think it's one that anybody else is expecting. So, yeah, be very prepared to be very emotional, I think, as well on this season.
Okay. You have me intrigued. We're 2 months away. Cannot wait for that. For sure. All right. We have a guest we need to get to soon. We have some rumors to hit up first, though. So, Josh, let's get to them quickly. What do we got?
Yeah, so Marvel Studios, like we said last week, is looking to recast a new actor for Black Panther. So Idris Hidj to play the iconic role of Black Panther, who was actually, I believe, Hawkman, and played in Black Adam. So rumor is that he is potentially being looked at to be the next Black Panther. I think based off the picture, man, I mean, I think he could pull it off. I think he'd be a great actor. We'll have to see. Honestly, I'd be okay if they put Denzel in there. You know what I mean? Give me an older variant.
No. Yeah, Aldous Hodge was awesome as Hawkman. He'd be awesome as Black Panther. It's just you got to get over the. I still a little kind of. I don't know if they should recast him. That's my thought. Josh or Joe. I mean, I'm sorry.
I'm Joe, not Josh. Thanks.
I know.
Yeah, like I said, I'd really love to see Michael B. Jordan or Winston Duke take over as Black Panther, but I'm also okay with just a full recast. They obviously killed off T'Challa in the MCU, like he, you know, the character himself died, as a way to explain it already, which may not have been the best idea if they were thinking about a recast, but we are currently in the multiverse saga and we will be for a few more years. So there's ways around things.
We shall see for sure. All right, moving on. Another character that actually has a series coming out rather soon. This year.
So we know it's coming out this year, but we don't have a trailer yet for it. Now, I'm hearing potentially in April, we might get the Ironheart trailer release, which is a bit worrying to me because I believe this is scheduled to come out, I want to say August or September, potentially. So I kind of think it would have already been out by now, at least a teaser, but we'll have to see. I know a lot of people after Black Panther 2 aren't excited for this. I'm willing to give it a shot, especially if the trailer ends up doing good. And depending on certain characters I'm hearing that will appear, I think a lot of people will probably look forward to seeing this.
I'm excited to see it. I thought it was kind of a flop, not a flop, but just flat. Her introduction in Black Panther 2. But I'd like to see them flesh out this character. Let's see what happens when she has her own series she drives. Joe.
Yeah, the character did not hit for me. And honestly, I don't know anyone that likes this character, like is a big fan of this character in the comics even. I'm not sure why this was a character that was chosen. A lot of the characters that have been introduced in the last couple years, we had Adam Warlock, obviously a popular character with a ton of staying power. Kamala Khan, who's another newer character who was recently introduced into the MCU, but has a lot of fans, a lot of big following, the comic book reader population. I just don't know a single person who is excited about this. And I totally agree with you that the her first appearance really fell flat. She honestly almost could have been taken out of that movie and replaced with, whoever else, just a random college student that, they were trying to save from whatever. That being said, obviously we want these things to do well. Let's give it a chance. Maybe this character will, not necessarily take off, but show a good support for the rest of the MCU, and hopefully the show will be at least entertaining.
Yeah, again, Josh has some insight here that there may be some cool appearances. We do know that the Red Hood is going to be in there, so that'll be fun, and it's going to open up a different corner of the Marvel Universe or the MCU. So we shall see. One more little tidbit of rumors. What do we got, Joshua?
Yeah, so, we got a Clayface film announced, and what goes along with Clayface? Batman. So, rumor is that we could potentially getting our first look and appearance of the DCU Batman in this film. And the only reason why some people feel that way is because James Gunn posted a picture of Clayface in the background with Batman in the front. When he could have only posted a Clayface only picture. And, I'm not saying a Clayface only horror movie with just his origin wouldn't be entertaining, but I would imagine somehow along the lines, Batman has to show up in that film. Whether it be a small role, a medium size, or a big one, he has to be in there. And we also know from Creature Commandos that Clayface, is already established. So, are we going to get a original story taking us back into the past, or are we getting a Clayface film that's set in current time DCU? So we'll have to see what happens in the next year or so when filming starts. But don't be surprised if we end up seeing Batman show up in this film.
I would love that 100%. And I have to recommend here, there's the, you see on the right side, we'll always try and put an issue there that corresponds to the news story. But Detective Comics Annual 1 gives the origin of Clayface. It's really good. Like that is, and if y'all are interested in the origin, the updated origin of Clayface, I would highly recommend reading that. It's available on their app, DC's app. But I would love to see the origin story on screen with Batman kind of in the background, the actual DCU Batman. Joseph, I'm sure you agree.
Yeah, I mean, Clayface is a top 5 Batman villain for me, and I'm very excited for this. As we mentioned before, Mike Flanagan is doing the movie, and he's got 2 of my all-time favorite horror things, both Netflix series, Midnight Mass and The Haunting of Hill House, under his belt. So I am very stoked for this, body horror interpretation of the Clayface character. And if Batman shows up, awesome. If he doesn't, and just kind of leads into the DCU, I'm okay with that too. But yeah, very stoked.
For sure. And right there, that ends our news and rumor report from Joshua. Josh, great job as usual. Looking forward to your report next week. But for now, you're just going to be hanging back. We'll see you a little bit later in the show. How does that sound?
I'll be back waiting.
Just delivers the news and rumors.
All right. We'll see Josh a little bit later. But now we have our guest here. Again, we all know this is the #1 show on the YouTube. What do we have? 16 million people watching currently, Joe?
Currently, yes.
If you, by chance, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do so now because, again, we are the #1 show on the YouTube. But we have a good friend of the show who pops on from time to time. He's been a guest before. He will not see the gauntlet of the interview. He's already passed an interview, believe it or not. That is Chris Killian. The many faces of Chris Killian we are going to be seeing in just a moment right here. But Chris, not only is he an amazing comedian, he actually makes me laugh here and there, but he is one of the on-camera leads at comicbook.com. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Chris Killian. I wish we had a laugh track and a clap track right there. How's it going, Christopher?
It's good. It's good. One of the leads of Comic Book. I'm the Royal Rumble winner. I don't know if you've been paying attention, bro. It's just me over there now.
And he's just taking over Comic Book Canon now too.
Where did Josh go? You kicked Josh off. Why do you segment us all?
Hey, honestly, if we have him on too long, his phone dies. So that's, you know what I mean? We need him to save power.
Well, it's okay. I took notes of everything I wanted to talk about, but I didn't get to in the news section. So first off, let's start with your banger intro music. Jeff, how did you commission that? It's great. I didn't know that anything happened on Comic Book Canon.
Oh, hell yeah. You love that? We're going to talk offline here. I'll let you know how that happened. But that was a lot of fun putting that together.
All right. Number 2, David Krumholtz does want to do it for the money. I've talked to that guy before. He's as money hungry as they come. Neil Gaiman, woof. Oh, guess we're not getting a Coraline sequel. And Aldous Hodge as Black Panther. I support it. This is Shakespeare, people. Come on, let him recast.
And this picture too, by the way.
After that, I heard TikTok was back, and I lost track of what you guys were talking about. So,
yeah, it is actually. It is back. Everybody stop what you're doing. Everybody say hello to Chris. Follow him down below. The link down below. Speaking of talking to some, a lot of quite people with names, shall we say. This is what you do for your job. So just give us a little tidbit of who you are, what you do for like the 20 million people that may not know that information.
Well, I've been with comicbook.com for about 8 years, which you would know since you hired me initially, Jeff. But my job has changed quite a lot over the years. Originally I was just going to be an after host for like the Arrowverse. That didn't pan out.
Wait, say that again?
Remember you hired me as like an after show host for like the Flash and Gotham. I guess
we wanted to do all of the after shows. I was a little too ambitious at the time there, but
you were so ahead of your time. But
it did work out for you. We did a lot of cool stuff there, and I listen, man. That's one of the. I'm not sincere very often on the show. Joe will tell you, Josh will as well, and even the Honorable Dan De La Torre. But meeting you was one of the best things about being down there in the Nashville area and getting to work with you. This dude comes off as this shit talking comedian, but you have a heart of gold, and that's no bullshit. So I kid you not. I'm being very sincere.
I was so upset when you didn't come to my wedding. I was so. Oh God!
Here's the deal.
Really the best night of my life, Jeff.
Everybody here loves Alicia more than me, my fiance, but it was her fault. It literally was her fault. She had to work that weekend, and I don't know what more to say to that. But I do want to change the subject and say Josh says he has 95% on his phone. I don't believe it. He's probably reading that wrong. But anyway, so thank you for that update of what you do. You can catch a ton of stuff that Chris does, going to all the press junkets, getting to speak to a lot of cool people, getting to see films before we get to see them. I sometimes text you. I'm like, yo, seriously, was that cool? Yeah, and you always give me the information. I'm loving it. So what I asked Josh here.
Twitter reaction.
What's that?
The non-public.
Exactly, and I never reveal it. But actually, what I asked Chris here before he came on was some of the top moments he's had, and he's had so many moments, and it was kind of on the spot. So he came up with 4 good ones actually that I think are going to be fun to share. So we'll show the pictures here, and you're going to kind of explain why this was a top moment for you. How about it?
Oh yeah, as you can see, Ronda Rousey's she's a little bun in the oven there. And my favorite thing about posting this picture online was everybody thought it was mine, which I would never make that joke because her husband would destroy me. Actually, she doesn't even have to let her husband step in. But no, this was cool. I interviewed her at San Diego Comic-Con, and during our interview, she had just come off of her panel, and she had announced that she was, pregnant with her second child, and she said that she had forgot to reveal her baby's gender. So I was just like, well, I don't have any confetti on me, but if you want to say it here, you can. And she just did. She just turned to the camera, was like, it's a girl. And I was like, wow, Ronda Rousey just revealed her baby's gender in my interview. So that was pretty sweet.
Honestly, that's literally it. If you die tomorrow, that's your claim to fame right there.
Well,
this is number 4 on the list, Joe. Strap in.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one right there.
This is 2024 in a nutshell, and it didn't even crack the top 3.
Oh, this is 2024.
Yeah, this all happened in 2024. Everything
all
you've
of these
done
things
is
that you told me about
year.
are last year.
Say what?
All of these things that you told me about are last year.
Yeah. Everything has
Okay.
been in the last year, 6 months ish.
Okay, that's great. I thought it'd be like because the question was top career moments, but whatever. 2024, actually, this is going to be great because this one right here, this is a good moment right here coming up. You ready to move on? Or you want to talk more Rousey? It's up to you.
Whatever. I can talk about Ronda all day long, but we can move on.
Why don't we move on? Because I'm excited for this one right here.
Oh, yeah. I got to interview, obviously, that's Adam Sandler. And who's that with him? Carrie Mulligan. I almost spaced on her name, and which I was about to feel real terrible about, but I remembered. But, yeah, basically, Adam Sandler called me a funny bastard in our interview, which was just like,
that's so Adam Sandler right there. But the fact that he sees in you what other people see, that you are pretty fucking funny. I just dropped the F-bomb. I said I wasn't going to do that anymore on the show, but here we go. That's how emphatic I am. You're funny.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. And I didn't know we could cuss on the show. Now I'm going to let them rip.
Well, what are you going to let rip? Do tell.
Yeah, I don't know. It just fucking depends on whatever I want, I guess. Yeah, it was pretty cool to have Adam Sandler call me a funny bastard. Now, actually, what sucks about this is that a lot of times when you do these junket situations, like, they cut the camera off and then people will still keep talking to you for a little bit. So I think that's what they cut the camera off, and he said it afterwards. So I don't have it like recorded. So it's like one of those things that only I know that it was said, and I have a very vivid recall of it, but people don't believe me. So I was hesitant to even bring it up because I don't actually have the video proof of him saying it, but I will cherish it in my heart forever.
How about
that reminds me of the time that Brad Pitt came up to me when I was just walking down the street and was like,
yeah, as Brad does.
I want to hang out with you. And we had spent a whole afternoon together. We held hands. We walked through the park. I ate his French fries. It was really romantic.
I was going to say, it sounds more like a date. That sounds like you guys, that's great. Good for you. I won't question that at all.
Look at Journos here in the house, by the way. Got to mention that. Yeah, I gave
Brad Pitt was in the hospital lately.
I gave him $800,000.
Yeah.
I gave him $800,000.
Oh, good. I'm glad that you guys are there to take care of Brad.
Yeah, he was tied up. That money was tied up with Angelina or something like that. So I wanted to help him out. And he called me a handsome bastard. So anyways, moving on. This one isn't even the best one of the 4, believe it or not. But this is a good one.
Oh, yeah. I got to shake hands with Harrison Ford and look into the eyes of a living legend. I'm right there. I'm so starstruck. I mean, I didn't even get my question out. He just walked off after that. I just stared. The look that's on my face, it just stayed there. No, funny story about Harrison Ford. My son was actually with me right there, and he's the one on the opposite side. And so I was like, "Hey, Mr. Harrison Ford, will you wave at my son? He's a big fan." And so he just kind of waves, and then he goes, "That's your son. He didn't look anything like you." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I punch above my weight." And then he goes, and then walks off. And it was the greatest moment. I was like, I just got a chuckle out of Harrison Ford. That's almost as good as Adam Sandler calling me a funny bastard.
Listen, he also looks like he's asking you, "Yo, man, did you just fart?" That's how. That's me just nodding as I smile and stare into his soul. Yep. He
all
is a
of my
legend.
bodily functions are releasing right now. It's like I'm dying.
Listen, that's a top moment for a lot of fans. I'll tell you what, but this one is so cool because what you did for a certain somebody, a legend in the comic book industry, who you would have thought had been introduced to another person, not in the comic book industry, but really famous actor. I'm just that's my tease right there, and I'm just gonna pull the image up. Talk to us.
Oh yeah, this will go down. Like 13-year-old me will probably think this is the coolest thing that I ever did with my entire life, because I was able to introduce Todd McFarlane to Tom Hardy. As everybody who's watching this knows, he's a co-creator of Venom. And yeah, I was talking to Todd sometime earlier. He knew I was going to do these Venom interviews, and I asked him if he'd ever met Tom Hardy, and he just said no. And it just blew my mind that we're on like the third Venom movie, and that their paths had not crossed yet. So I had this interview set up. So I asked Todd if he wanted to kind of surprise Tom in my interview, and that's what we did. So we just during the interview, I asked him a simple question about the creator of Venom, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Todd McFarlane." And I was like, "Well, I just so happen to have somebody here who wants to talk to you." And it was the coolest thing to be in the room while those two legends met. It was incredible.
Like the fact that you made it happen, though, that's even more incredible. So again, I don't like giving you kudos, but kudos to you. I don't know how it came up. You texted me or something like that. I'm like, that is freaking crazy. So
yeah. Little do you guys know, though, Todd McFarlane actually walked away from this kind of shaking his head, a little confused, and was like, "That wasn't the guy from that '70s show."
That joke fell flat. What? I thought you were going somewhere.
Topher Grace was the other live action Venom. Come on.
I got it. I knew where you were going with it.
It still fell flat, though. It still fell flat. Listen, I don't want to get into an argument.
Well, Jeff's off the show now. This is really cool. This is awesome. Not only, a legend just beyond Venom, obviously a co-creator of co-founder of Image Comics, creator of Spawn, the whole action figure line that he does, but also
he changed the game, like without question. Yeah. Like I can't think of anybody, in my mind is influential, to comic books as Todd has. I can't think of anybody more so than Todd in the last 25 years.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the only other name that really comes to mind is Stan Lee.
Yeah.
As far as individuals that had such a big impact on the mainstream success of comic books. And then, Tom Hardy, say what you want about the movies, because, the first one I really liked, the second and third were not my favorite, but I thought he did a really cool job as the character, did a really cool interpretation. And I would have liked to see it done, within the confines of the MCU instead of the Sonyverse. But anyway, let's bring Jeff back. Because
thank you for that. I'm glad I'm back now.
You needed a timeout, man.
I appreciate that. I'm glad I'm back. But here's the deal. We top 5 sounds better than top 4. And there was another moment that I was searching for that you discussed, and it was Jim Carrey. Real quick, we don't have the image, but tell us what that meant to you.
Oh, I mean that he was the first. Like, I interviewed Jim in 2019. It was the first time that I'd met him. It was for the first Sonic, and in my interview, I got him to laugh, which was like most mind melting thing ever. You probably remember me telling you about that, but I've since interviewed him. This was my 3rd time this year for Sonic 3. And when I actually went in, he was like, "Oh, hi again," basically, and like knew who I was, which is the craziest thing in the world. But Jim's like the coolest guy. Every time I talk to him, he's incredible. I could listen. Honestly, I hate that I have to ask him nerdy questions because I find him so interesting on a philosophical level that I would just love to talk about the cosmos with that guy and just see what's rattling around in his head about it.
He's got quite a bit. Like, he's definitely deeper than what we first saw from like In Living Color. He's definitely like you start seeing him do
that. I think I love that In Living Color was the thing that you used,
right? But not Dumb and Dumber or The Mask.
But that's where he came to prominence, though. Was In Living Color.
Sure.
However, there's the work he's done is just amazing.
He's a
and
genius.
he was going to retire, but I haven't seen Sonic 3. I like the first two. I thought that was great, so I'm looking forward to seeing the third one, to be honest.
I think the third one's the best, honestly. I think it's the best of the three.
Yeah, one of my favorite Wikipedia little excerpts. I've seen a screenshot of it. It's, Jim Carrey's page, his career section. It's, in blah 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 of 2021, Jim Carrey announced that he was retired from acting unless a really important role came along. And then a paragraph down, Jim Carrey will reprise his role as Dr. Robotnik.
Well, what's even funnier about that is that I think his actual quote was like, unless they send me a script in 24 karat gold ink, to which that's what the director Jeff Fowler did, is he actually sent him Sonic 3 in gold ink. They spent
no way. Are you serious?
Yeah, they sent him the script for Sonic 3 in gold ink, and I think they spent like $100,000 or something on that script to get it sent to him.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
That's
wild. This was actually a fun interview we've done. You have a little bit more responsibility with the show. We're going to move into this little look right here because we have other segments, right? It's not just about you. Chris Killian, the guy that hobnobs with the celebrities, right? Has everybody's phone number in the industry, gets paid millions of dollars to do cool things that you do. It's not all about that. It's about this show, the community. It's about this community too, okay? And with this community, we have people that we feature in a show, in a little segment we called the Comic Book Cannon Popcorn. Which, oh no, I did upload it. Great. So get to know Kaboom Comics.
Popcorn. It's time for Comic Book Cannon. Popcorn. Let's learn about each other.
Hey guys, welcome. My name's Luis. You guys know me as Kaboom Comics. Just to let you guys know, my first comic book was a Disney comic book, Donald Duck. I started tracing characters. That's how I got into the comic book artwork. Back in 2000, a little bit after high school, I got diagnosed with keratoconus. It's an eye disease that 1 out of 2,000 people get. So basically my cornea was degrading and I was becoming blind. Recently I got a corneal transplant 2 years ago. One of my favorite characters is Wolverine, Spider-Man, Venom. I don't know if you guys liked my book that I did for the Batman one, but I'm gonna keep doing sketch covers just so you guys can have some more free books. I am giving away a reprint of Spawn #1 just to start someone's year out. I want to nominate my good friend Mike Kelly at Mike's Comics 77. He's one of my customers that has bought stuff from me before. So Mike, you're next, buddy.
Right there is the Comic Book Cannon Popcorn. So, Mike Kelly 77, you are on the clock. We are going to be hearing about you next week. Again, the community is what drives the cannon. You are the fuel, and we burn it for you on these shows each and every week on the cannon. We are not going to do an Ask Joe this week because we have a guest. His name is Chris Killian. He's a wonderful human being. And we're going to get into Fresh from the Comic Shop soon with him. But what do we have next? Hold on. You know what? We forgot to do something, Joe. We forgot to do something.
I noticed. I wasn't going to say anything, but yeah.
The featured episode issue right here is what we forgot to do. So let's just get into it right now. It is Fantastic Four 211, and another wonderful, wonderful suggestion from Dan De La Torre. Galactus seeks a new herald and sets his sights on Tyros, the ruthless ruler of the planet Laniak. With the help of the Fantastic Four, Galactus transforms Tyros into Terax, the Tamer, imbuing him with the cosmic powers and destructive nature. As Terax takes his place as Galactus' new servant, the Fantastic Four witness the birth of a powerful and dangerous force in the Marvel Universe. Again, first full appearance of Terax. Galactus seeks a new herald, which is Terax. And John Byrne and Marv Wolfman are the creators on this book. All right. So apologies. We always do that at the top of the show. I was just so nervous to have Chris on the show. Guadalajara slots. Chris Killian, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Killian. I think we introduced you at the top of the show. Is that correct?
I don't remember. I was too busy listening to that really killer theme song that you guys got.
All right.
Earworm.
I'm going to send you the track. No lie. I wrote the lyrics. I laid down the vocals. And we'll get into how the music was made later. But again, since this is kind of we're moving on from Ask Joe this week, want to remind you all to join the newsletter. If you haven't already, link is down below. You get snippets of the show, be able to go to your favorite segment without having to scrub all the way through. All right. So one more segment before we get to Fresh from the Comic Shop, and that is, Did You Know? And Chris, I want to know if you knew this fun little fact right here about Secret Wars. Check it out.
Did you know, not only was Secret Wars the first major crossover event in comics, but it was also created to sell toys? Published by Marvel Comics in 1984, Secret Wars was a groundbreaking 12-issue series that brought together characters like Spider-Man, the X-Men, the Avengers, and even Doctor Doom, all battling on a mysterious planet called Battleworld. The storyline was driven by the Beyonder, a cosmic entity who wanted to observe the ultimate clash of good versus evil. But behind the scenes, the series had a more commercial origin. In the early 1980s, Marvel teamed up with Mattel to develop a toy line that could rival Kenner's popular Superpowers figures featuring DC characters. As part of the deal, Mattel requested a tie-in comic with a catchy title. After testing various words with focus groups, Secret and Wars were chosen for their appeal and excitement. Marvel delivered with a story that not only inspired the toy line, but also captivated readers, leading to the creation of 3 waves of action figures, playsets, and vehicles. Decades later, these toys are cherished collectibles, fondly remembered by fans of the era. Despite its commercial roots, Secret Wars left a lasting impact. It introduced Spider-Man's iconic black suit, which would later become Venom, and it helped set the stage for future crossover events. It proved that bringing heroes and villains together in a huge crossover narrative could be both a storytelling and marketing triumph. So, the next time you see your favorite characters teaming up in a crossover, remember, it all started with Secret Wars, where superheroes clashed for the fate of Battleworld, as well as toy store shelves.
I didn't know that story either. Again, I had to do a little digging for that, but I find that fascinating that Secret Wars was driven to sell toys, but it also it had a lasting kind of effect with the Black Suit Spidey, Venom, a lot of kick-ass moments with Doctor Doom just downing Galactus, things like that. So I find that highly interesting. Chris, did you know?
I did know that, actually. Okay. I don't know if you know this, but those were my first toys that I ever had. I had Captain America, I had Black Suit Spider-Man, and I had Wolverine. I didn't have everything. I didn't have the whole line because I was poor. But I did have those 3. And in fact, if I would have known that you were going to use that as the Did You Know, I'd show you my Captain America. He doesn't have wings anymore. I think I chewed those off a long time ago. Oh yeah. But he's I still got him. All the limbs work and everything. It's great.
I have to make it. Well, I know, Joe, you want to say something, but I have to make an admission here. I'm more Marvel than I am DC. I love both, but I like the superpower figures better than I did the Secret Wars, because the superpower figures, you press their legs and they'd punch, or Hawkman's wings would fly, and the Flash would run real fast. So, anyways, Joe, you had a thought.
Yeah, just another thing about Secret Wars. This is like my favorite Secret Wars trivia question. There is one character that was not included in the original 1984 Secret Wars. One major character, actually, in fact, the only character that didn't have that had their own run at the time, their own title, that was not involved in Secret Wars. Do you know who it is?
Is it Daredevil?
It is Daredevil.
Whoa!
You, Chris Killian.
Wow.
Impressive.
Okay. No, Nightcrawler was in it, Caleb. That's a good call right there. They did make a Daredevil figure, but that was probably the second or third wave. But that's a really good call. I had no idea about that either. We should do a Did You Know? Well, that's a little. Anyways, so
Did you know?
Exciting stuff for sure. Now, Chris, if you loved our intro to our show, you're gonna probably just be overjoyed hearing the intro to Fresh from the Comic Shop.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Not only does it
taking my sweater off.
Oh yeah, please do. You're gonna need to.
Woo woo.
Not only does it explain what Fresh from the Comic Shop is, not only does it explain how you can win an amazing Crafty Comics case, who is our sponsor for Fresh from the Comic Shop, but it gives you this funky groove that you will not be able to get out of your head. Are you ready?
Please bring it on.
You got it.
Fresh! Fresh from the comic shop. Your collection's treasures ready to pop. It's time to share, don't let it flop. Fresh from the comic shop. Take a shot, make it bright, give it style and flair. Show a book that's unique, something rare out there. Tell us why it matters, what's the story behind. Pull at our heartstrings and you'll surely shine.
Sponsored by Crafty Comics, where collections flex their style. Museum quality slabs and displays with 99% UV protection. Because your fresh gets deserved the spotlight.
Wow, I am plotting, man.
I saw that. You're
so busy plotting.
You got a little sign right there.
Oh my goodness! Did you also do those vocals?
What's that? No, I didn't do vocals on that one. I didn't do the vocals on that one. Hell no. But I do have to say, you are going to be responsible for picking a semifinalist throughout these submissions. With that said, for those who are interested, all you got to do is give us your fresh gets, take a well-composed shot, give us a unique book, or pull at our heartstrings, tell a story. Any of those three, it'll go a long way in terms of how we judge you and moving on to the semifinals. Please use the hashtag FFTCS. Also, tag Comic Book Canon in the picture, not in the description. If it's in the description, we will not see it. So keep that in mind. I do have to mention here, guys. Let's bring in the judge. Dan De La Torre. He has not been in the show yet, and that's just not fair. He hasn't met Chris. Judge, how are you?
I'm doing just fine. I'm not in my robes because I'm helping my wife make dinner.
That's okay. But here's
that's
the
a fire
deal.
hazard to have the judges thing and next to the burner and all that. So that's
no,
quite
for sure.
dangerous.
I need you to introduce yourself to Chris and tell him what you do on the show.
Okay, Chris, can you read Morse code? As I speak to you and say hello, hopefully you can read what I'm telling you. Get me out of here.
He's not kidnapped. He signed a contract.
Well, I don't know why. When you first said Morse code, for some reason I was thinking Braille.
And there's Braille on YouTube. You just don't keep reading. Keep reading. Help me, please.
He's blinking twice if he needs help. So yes. So that's Dan. He is our honorable judge. He makes sure everything is done properly in terms of picking the fresh get, moving it on to the semifinals. It's a very important job. He has a gavel too.
A gavel and everything. Yeah. See. There we go. So
that's
nothing
cool.
gets past me.
And he usually dresses up as the judge too, but tonight again, it's a fire hazard because what are you cooking, Judge?
Salmon. Yeah, I'm trying to please my wife, and again, she doesn't like me when I wear the robes outfit. So yeah, she kind of like does this. Why do I marry this guy? And walks away. So,
listen, but we love you. We give you that love that she's taken away from you.
That's why I come on the show. I need as much love as possible, and I get
you deserve it. You
I
absolutely deserve it.
Maybe
so here we go.
Psychology. Maybe she's just trying to play a little hard to get with the robe. You know what I mean?
Like, hey, you may be onto something, Chris. I like how you think.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's a little hard to get. You just got to show a little leg while you're wearing it or something. You know what I mean?
I'll try that, but next week if I'm on the show and if I have this big, red hand mark on my face, you'll know it didn't work very well.
Listen, that's Chris's fault too, by the way.
Also, maybe she's into it. You know what I mean? Like maybe she's just a striker.
This is you have to have Chris back on. This is a brilliant mind you brought up on this show.
This is the third time he's been on the show, by the way. It gets better and better each time. Hey, Dan, before we get you in the background here, just explain what you're going to be giving away here for our newsletter contest.
Oh, this is a cool comic here. And remember the old Overstreet price guide? And Overstreet was the Bible for comic dealers or collectors back in the day. they had said this Iron Man 169 was the first appearance of when James Rhodes took over the Iron Man armor. And the market said, no, issue 170 was because you had Rhodes. It was a better cover than this one here. So anyway, that was what they said back in the day. But this is the very first appearance when Iron Man does, James Rhodes takes over the armor. I think there's just still sleeper keys. I think you talked about Riri Williams. I don't think she's going to go very far. It's going to be James Rhodes. And I think that's going to happen when the Iron Man series comes out. They're going to make reference to it, I think, this year. So this is going to be yours. It's a 9.4 white pages. Now, Jeff, how are we giving this away?
How we're giving this away? Let's explain this again. The Comic Book Canon referral contest. This is with specific tiers here. Tier 1, if you refer 25 subscribers. By the way, the link is down below to join our newsletter, and then then the instructions are there to refer a friend. If you refer 25 new subscribers to us, by the way, Substack keeps track of this as well. If you refer 25 subscribers, you'll receive a comic book straight from one of our curated collections. Tier 2, refer 50 subscribers, you're going to get this amazing Stanley tumbler right here, the Comic Book Canon branded tumbler. And Tier 3, be the first one to hit 100 referrals, and you'll win this beautiful Iron Man book from Dan De La Torre's collection. Hold on. What is going on here?
I just want to prove to Chris I am an actual judge. I got the wig and everything, so I'm totally legit. And how it looks better with the gavel. So.
No, I was doubting you, but now that I've seen the wig, they've all been squashed. I can't question
any doubts. Yes, absolutely. All right, we're going to move on to show some of these submissions here. Joshua has some as well. Judge, we're going to put you in the background so you can continue to cook some salmon.
No, don't let the judge. Oh, fine. See you later, Dan. It was nice to meet you.
I mean, we can keep him in here. Look at this. It's crowded now, guys.
Hey, Josh is back.
I'm here.
Everyone. Josh, we're gonna get to your. We're gonna just keep everybody in here. It'll be it'll be fun here.
It's just me. What just happened?
I don't know. You're taking over.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm like the NWO.
Yeah, Joe's making things very awkward, which is fine too, by the way. All right, I just have an announcement here. With the semifinals, we had Dr. Plagueis versus Slick Jolly. Dr. Plagueis took it home. You will be going up again. You'll be going to our finals for January right here, and the community will vote again. But great showing, everybody. Slick Jolly did submit again today. We'll get to that in a hot second.
I would have given it to Slick Jolly based on his name alone.
Well, guess what? He had 25% of the vote or so. But again, there's another Slick Jolly submission. So we're going to get to Kate's first, though, by the way. Kate's Comics. Here we are. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. New Adventures of Supergirl #1 from 1982, Origin Retold. This is the first issue of the second volume of Supergirl. It contains a lot of fun stories as Kara moves to Chicago and meets a handful of new characters, both friends and foes, all while trying to lead a more normal human life. I've been a Supergirl fan for such a long time, it seems. Not that I give up for anything, but I feel like I've totally lost hold of the part of me that doesn't scoot around the universe in shorts and a cape. I've forgotten what it feels like to just be a person instead of a symbol. That is Kara, aka Supergirl, saying that. About halfway through this run, the title would be shortened to Supergirl, but canceled about a dozen issues later. This is the last series of Kara Zor-El as Supergirl pre-crisis. When this series was canceled, it was the first time in over 30 years to have no Supergirl story being published. She hopped around in Action Comics, Adventure Comics, Superman Family, and her own series since 1959. Well done there. Wait, I think there's more. Actually, that's a lot. All right, so well done there, Kate's Comics. Moving. Actually, let's see a fresh get from Joshua's collection right now. What do you got, Joshua?
Am I only doing one tonight?
That's up to Chris. He's running the show now. He's now the CEO of Comic Book Canon.
No, take him off. He doesn't get any.
Not a problem. Joe,
Damn.
you're first. Or actually, Chris, do you have anything you want to show? Actually,
No, I feel bad. Bring Josh back on and let him show his comic. Jesus.
Oh my God! What? Oh, with that, pretty good.
What do you got, Josh?
So I went to a local Comic-Con today and was hanging out with Joe, and I picked up a huge stack of books, but I picked up this book I didn't know existed. And this is Iron Giant Preview. It's about a 4 to 5 page preview of Iron Giant, and it's a 9/8, and technically the first Iron Giant in comics, and the only Iron Giant in comics. Big fan of this. It was part of my childhood growing up. So yeah, I picked this up for $80 today. A great deal, and glad to have this in my collection.
Yo, what a great! Honestly, that movie was fantastic, and that's a great pickup. I'd never have seen that. Who's the publisher on that? Can you pick that show it again?
It just says Warner Brothers from 1999. It was like a promo that Warner Brothers did for the movie right before it came out.
That's really
so
cool.
I'm assuming this was delivered to comic shops. You can probably buy it at movie theaters, and it was for kids. You know, it's literally, if you open up the comic, it has just a bunch of different scenes from the movie in there just to get kids excited for. So yeah,
Joe, I'm not sure about you, but I would say that's kind of unique.
Definitely unique. Also awesome. You know, that movie, you can't watch Iron Giant without crying. It's just such an emotional movie. So good, especially for an animated film. Love that. Very jealous of Josh when he walked back over to the table with that in his hands. I was like, damn.
That's a nice one right there. Good work, Josh. All right, moving on. We got Slick Jolly. Growing up, one of the first comics I ever had in my collection was a copy of Silver Surfer #4, a timeless classic cover by John Buscema. It stuck with me over the years, and as my passion for comic reading and collecting grew, I came across one of the most amazing homage covers I've seen. Silver Surfer #4 by Bjorn Barons, but with one of my all-time favorite characters, the Hulk. After sending this copy in for a signing event, it became one of the first graded comics in my collection. Side by side at last, it's hard not to be in awe. I do like the submission. Again, pulls at the heartstrings. He tells us what it means to him. Christopher, I want to see what you got, because that was fun what you're telling us before we started the show.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not super fresh, right? Because it's only been out for about 6 months. But this is Digital Lizards of Doom, level 2 Commander EKO. Shout out to Gabriel Valentine, who is a super cool guy, because he actually made me the villain in this. I am Commander EKO, and I'm a saxophone playing dictator. I think is how I'm written in it. The leader of Killian Park. Anyways, it's great. Go check it out.
And speaking of saxophones, what do we see in the bottom left of this promo here?
Oh, that's me blowing the horn, man. What are you talking about? What is it?
You are better than Kenny G, I've heard. I have heard that.
Yeah, I'm very gifted in lots of ways.
For sure.
You know, I'm surprised you didn't put Condiment King on this, as much as the entire internet wants me to be Condiment King.
I'll be honest. I had to go scrub through your Instagram, and these were the ones that made me chuckle the most. And I was like, well, I filled up this page, and we're good. But the Professor X one is outstanding. The eyebrows on there.
That's what gives it away.
Time out. I thought it was what's his name from Austin Powers, Dr. Evil at first.
He does have a Dr. Evil too, by the way.
And then I saw the eyebrows. That was the giveaway that it was Professor X.
Everybody, y'all better be following Chris Killian. The link is down below to his Instagram, but he does have a Dr. Evil as well. So that is that's good stuff right there.
I actually get to show Mike Myers my Dr. Evil.
Oh, did you? What did he say?
He said he was weirded out by how good it was.
Wow.
You're getting a lot of props here, and I do like that, actually.
I thought the bald-headed version was the guy from the porno that always shows up in all the films, you know?
Oh, thanks, man. That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me, you know, comparing me to old Johnny Sins. Why did I know his name? I don't know. That's terrible. I wish I hadn't said that out loud.
Wait,
luckily, your wife can't hear you, I'm sure.
Josh, wait, hold on a second. Josh, why are you still here?
Because
you set him up. Joe, what do you got for your fresh get right here?
This was a late week for me. This is a big selling week for me. I had Friday, I sold to one of my friends who's a full-time comic book dealer. I sold him a bunch of my inventory. Saturday, I did a show with Elite Comics 11 on Instagram, and today was Philly Comic-Con, and I was set up there. I did not do much buying this week. I did grab a couple cool books at Philly Comic-Con. I'm going to just show one of them off because it's one of my all-time favorite books. And it is actually the first appearance of my favorite comic book character. And I currently actually have it out of the bag and board, which can be a little bit dangerous. Don't worry, I have no beverages over here. But I wanted to, page through it and read it. It's been a while since I read this book. This is Giant Size X-Men #1, the first appearance of multiple characters, including the best character of all time, Nightcrawler. Also first Thunderbird, first Colossus, first Storm, second full Wolverine, fourth overall appearance if you're counting cameos. New X-Men team premieres, all that stuff. One of the most important books, if not the most important book of the Bronze Age. And definitely one of my favorites. My personal collection copy is currently trapped in plastic. It's graded, so this is going to be an opportunity for me to read it again and then pass it on to someone else.
That book is the greatest heartbreak of my life. Is I had a 9.2 CGC slabbed version of it, and I sold it because my kid needed braces, and this was about 7 years ago or so. So I sold it for like $1,000,
right?
And I was like, I'll buy it back in a year or two. Like I'll get then I checked it out. I was like, I'm never gonna get that book again.
Yeah. That's coincidentally that is the grade that I have on mine, 9.2, which
nice. You
I don't have
my copy.
It's not. I found it in the wild and got it graded as a 9.2. It was in a collection that I bought. But you really got to weigh, the benefits here of like braces. I get it. It's your kid and all, but does he need braces? I don't know. Were his teeth real jacked, or were they just like kind of,
Oh, they're real jacked, man.
Okay, if they were real jacked, I condone it.
I was like, and my job, I feel like as a father now is to make sure that my genetics get strengthened down the line, and I can't do that if I don't get the kid braces.
Sure.
Right. Now that's part of the whole package. I see what you're saying, because for him to attract a nice young lady to procreate, I got you. I see what you're saying.
You see the logic.
We're getting some weird territory, and I'm just going to cut it off right here. We're going to have Nori Jordan, who's the biggest Thunderbolts fan of all time. However, Nori decided to give us a Gargoyles book. This week, I will mix things up and show off a fun book that brought me back to my younger days. One of my favorite shows growing up was Gargoyles. It had a great group of characters, and the storylines were some of the best. Luckily, the show is on Disney Plus, and my son and I were able to sit down and watch the whole series together. This inspired me to track down a beautiful copy of Gargoyles #1 for my PC. My son currently reads the new series, and I imagine it's about time I did the same. Take care, everyone. That's pulling at the heartstrings right there for sure. Good get right there. Nori Jordan owns, no lie, I think 53 copies of Thunderbolts #1, Chris. I'm not exaggerating.
I think he's up to, approaching 60, if not already at 60, because I think I sold him the 58th or 59th or something like that. Either
way, he owns a ton of Thunderbolts #1, and all varieties too, all variants. And it's 60 plus. Nukes just said so.
Trying to drive up the price. What's going on here?
Yeah, he wants to own every copy ever produced in the whole world. So, of course, he's trying to drive up the price. I guess I'll just show off a book real quick. Josh says 67, and I think he's serious, too. What book should I show off? Speaking of my youth, I just stopped by my local comic book shop this week and got this Transformers #15. I do believe this is a variant. I'm loving this series. Love Transformers in the Energon universe. I'm loving all of that right there. Okay, moving on. We just did Nori Jordan. Everybody should know this person right here. Good old Journos Comics, the alumnus of comic book canon right there. Fresh from the comic shop. I haven't been buying many comics lately, but for Christmas, I was gifted this #1 issue of Saturday Morning Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, along with a couple of 40th anniversary Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle classic reissue figures. This gift was so special to me because for those that have watched the canon since day one, you may know that my first ever comic was the Archie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventure Comics from 1987, which my mom purchased for me from an Alpha Beta grocery store. The Ninja Turtles have always been a huge part of my life, so I even pulled out my original figures to show off with my new pieces. Yo, pulls at the heartstrings, tells us what it means to him. Like I love the picture he's taking here. So again, keep note, Chris. You're gonna have to choose one. It may be difficult right here. We have 2 more left to show off. Let's bring Joshua back in. Josh, you have another book you want to show?
Oh yeah, I got plenty. So another book that I picked up, I was just like my jaw dropped. I love Bruce Timm artwork, especially when he draws the ladies. And this is Harley Quinn's 30th anniversary special by Bruce Timm.
Ooh.
And that thing is just like I do not know if Bruce does signatures anymore at cons, and if he does, I hope he does one here. I would love to get this thing signed and maybe even have him do some drawing because he's got some open space. Maybe I can get him to do a Joker or something down here. Potentially, I'll have to see. But yeah, Bruce did again just a phenomenal job on this, and I love my lady, so great pickup for me.
I love my ladies, he says. That is a nice pickup right there. Another nice
Yeah, this is gonna be you might notice if you see this book next week, the cover might be a little
Here we go. Kick
him off.
Kick him off.
No. Moving on. Raising Elm. Oh, Raising Elm with some Ghostbusters goodness right here. Comic fam, our smart and handsome little man is growing up and he will be turning 3. I can't believe he's turning 3 already. Really soon. I guess that means he will be asking to borrow the keys to the Ecto-1 before we know it. It's funny. I was about his age when I first got into Ghostbusters. One of my earliest childhood memories was waking up on Christmas morning and finding all the Ghostbusters toys under the tree, some of which have managed to stay with me all of these years. Got to move over to the sheet here. Coincidentally enough, about a week ago, I was up late one night scrolling on eBay and I came across a sharp-looking newsstand copy of Ghostbusters issue 1 for about $25. The issue was published by Now, and it marks their first appearance in the U.S. comic book. An absolutely amazing addition to our PC. This also means I've been hanging out with you guys here on the Canon for around 3 years now. 2, time is moving way too fast. Egon may collect fungus, but here we collect classic comics. Much love, comic fam. Raising Elm, you did it again. That is a nice pickup right there. I heard
Raising Elm rich as a kid, huh? All 4 Ghostbusters. Jeez.
I know, for real. That's a big deal getting all those toys for Christmas.
Man, even got Venkman. That's crazy.
Good for him. All right. I heard a rumor that the judge himself has a fresh get to show off. What do you got?
I don't think I showed you guys this, but I have had a love and fascination for the Golden Age, especially Captain Marvel. And this is Wiz Comics number 93 from 1948. This is in gorgeous condition, especially the spine, which is in fantastic shape. So the colors pop on this one. You can find these for a very reasonable price, surprisingly reasonable prices for Golden Age. And keep in mind, for those who don't know, this is a little historical fact, that the Fawcett comics, the Captain Marvel comics, outsold Superman. And as I collect these, I understand why. The stories were far better. These are better written stories than the action and Superman comics. And that says quite a bit. And this also explains why DC, when they finally got the gumption, they sued Fawcett to gain the Captain Marvel logo, which that was a whole shenanigans right there. And it was sad because DC had deeper pockets and better lawyers, because Fawcett should never have surrendered Captain Marvel. But anyway, that's an aside. But I'm collecting these as I go. These are absolutely gorgeous. So
that is a great cover, Dan. I love it, and it does present well. It looks like it's in great condition.
This is on its way to EGS. Tony is going to have some fun putting this together.
Yeah, for sure. Good pickup. We're going to keep you on for that. Good work right there. And finally, we got Nukes Comics. Nukes Comics. Fresh from the comic shop, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man 16. Spidey navigates through a crime spree to thwart the Beetle's plan to break into the Midtown Police Precinct. Just when it looks like the Beetle has bested the wall crawler, he receives a backup from a hero in blue. Can the two outmaneuver the Blue Beetle, or will he crush them both? This book features a vibrant cover and lively interior artwork from Sal Buscema. Pick this up while backbinning at DBS. Good stuff indeed. Judge, you're going to need to put the wig on. We're going to remove you from the show for right now. So those are our fresh gets that we got this week from the wonderful audience members. Chris, you have a job to do, right? Mm-hmm. You have a job to perform. You're going to have to pick one of these that's going to move on to the semifinals. If you feel like there are a few here that have really kind of been like, that's really nice, let us know what they are right now. We'll talk through what they are, and then you're going to have to make a decision.
All right. I think I have my pick already in my mind.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, first off, runner up to Dan and Wiz Comics, just because he told such a great story about it. So I always love learning something, and that was great, Dan. So thank you for that. I'm going to have to say no to Giant Size X-Men because of the PTSD that it brought up.
Time out. None of us are eligible here, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I'm not eligible.
All right, good.
Feel free to give us crap.
That makes me feel less bad.
Yeah.
Okay, feel free to give us crap for sure.
Okay, so my win's going to go to Gargoyles. Actually, I think that I hadn't thought of that cover in a long time, and as soon as I saw it, it kind of brought me back. I used to love that cover as a kid, and also I really resonate with the whole, watching the whole series with your son. I've watched all that stuff with my son, and Batman the Animated Series and Spider-Man the Animated Series. So I get that. I think it's great that you're using Gargoyles for that. So Gargoyles is the winner.
All right, Gargoyles. Nori Jordan, you're moving on for a non-Thunderbolts book. Nobody would have ever predicted that, by the way.
I like the decisiveness of Chris. He just says, that's what I want. That's all there is to it. No monkey business. Just let's get right down to business, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah, I realized the show's been going on for an hour and 21 minutes at this point, so I was like, let's just do this.
Your Honor, I apologize for saying that it's moving on. We have to proceed according to the law. So please.
That's totally fine. This is when he's nice to me. So, Chris, so just let you know, he's nice when it comes down to decision.
Oh, I know how Jeff is. Don't you worry about that. I'm well aware.
Right.
Jeff didn't show up to my wedding.
It's Alicia's fault. It's your fault.
Don't blame that pretty lady. Oh, don't leave her out of this. All right. Anyway, Nori Jordan, you are the winner. Thanks to Mr. Chris. Case dismissed.
All right, Nori Jordan, it is official. You are moving on to the semifinals. You'll be going up against whoever's picked next week. Speaking of next week, we are live every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. Also, I don't want to have to remind you all again, as the judge is bringing that up, but we do have a newsletter. You can, again, if you don't catch the Canon live, you can always go to the newsletter, go through the articles here, just read through the bullet points or click on your favorite segments of the show. It's that easy. And you can win a prize if you refer 25, 50, or 100 friends for sure. This is the time of the show, Christopher, where we talk about how great we are, how much fun it was, how great the community is. What was it like? I know you're throwing up during the pre-show when we were talking because you're so nervous to be on the #1 show on YouTube. But how do you feel now that you've gotten through it?
Well, have we managed to hold on to all 16 million of the viewers? Because if so, this has been great. And if not, I apologize.
No, it wouldn't have been your fault at all. Oh, there's the judge right here. He came back. But we appreciate having you on. I'm very sincere when I say this. I say it almost every week. Time is the most precious commodity we have. And being able to spend time with people like-minded that we love comic books and everything associated with. And you, I do consider you a really good friend. I'm glad I could pick up the phone, whether it be after 6 months of not talking to you or what have you, and just catching up on things. So I do appreciate you. Do appreciate the fact that you've been here and enlightened our
favorite friends. And you are one of those. Can I just say that you are one of the, I love the friends that you can not talk to for years. And they're cool with it. Like, that's the best. Like, so yeah, Jeff, you're great. And thank you for everything you've ever done for me. And yeah, I always love texting with you.
Please, can you get over the fact that I wasn't able to make it to your wedding?
No.
All right. Let's go around the table here. Mr. Dan De La Torre, Your Honor, how was the show for you and how do you feel?
Show was fantastic, and huge shout out to Jeff. He's put a ton of work into the show regarding the graphics and everything else here. So it's a thankless job, and I wanted to thank you because I know you put a ton of effort into this. It looks fantastic, by the way.
Appreciate it. It's been fun doing it. It's been fun doing it. Joshua,
Chris, great to see you. Great to see you.
Nice to meet you, Dan.
Before I do that, Jeff, can I announce a book that I want to throw in for the subscriber?
Wow. What year will this be? For sure. Yeah, go for it. Hold on.
So this is Batman and Robin Adventures number 18, a great Joker cover I picked up today in a nice bundle deal. So I'm gonna put this in a bag and board, and this will be one of the books that you guys can win, or the book. I guess we'll still have to discuss that. So
No,
please,
it'll be. I mean, once we hit the 100 subscribers from somebody, referred subscribers, the contest shuts down. So again,
well, that's one. There you go. That's a book.
that's a
The
book.
next one, the
25
Joker cover.
subscribers.
So please
All right.
do that. Thank you guys. We appreciate you tuning in every Sunday night. Hit the like button. Please subscribe. Let everybody know about it. Keep getting Fresh from the comic book shops in. We appreciate it. And, rolling into the new year again. And thanks for having, Chris, who come on the show. It's my first time meeting you and everything. And I got to tell you, you're one of the better guests we've had. I honestly think if we replace you with Jeff, the show would be on time and would probably operate a little bit better. So there you go.
What? I'm
Look,
available.
Jeff's
You know what? Just let's get rid of Jeff. Let's do it. This is now. Oh, he's coming back. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was just playing.
But yeah, it's a great episode tonight, and surprisingly, we're going to be ending quite early. But love you guys, and yeah, that's it.
Joseph.
Happy January, everyone. That's it. No.
Go Birds.
Go Birds, first of all. First and foremost, I can't believe we have the Commanders, and that's it, stopping us from getting in the bowl. I had a crazy weekend. All comic books all weekend, basically from Friday when I got done work, which was way earlier than I was supposed to be done work, until now. I am very ready to go to sleep, but man, these weekends, they're just packed with comic stuff. Despite how exhausting they are, always fun. And of course, this show is the best way to cap things off. So thank you all for watching. Thank you all for participating in the show, especially you, Chris, as our special guest, and definitely look forward to seeing you again in the future.
For sure. And again, thank you all for joining. You guys drive the canon. We truly appreciate the time you spend with us. The fresh gets, the communications, the DMs, the tags, the referrals, all of that stuff. We love you. We're live every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll see you next week. And until then, be good to yourself, be good to others. Peace.